Hey folks, how you going? Hope you're having a pretty good Saturday. I've been busy. It's been a very productive day for me. So I've got a bit of shade cloth happening over my window. Hopefully I won't be able to overheat myself again like I did yesterday, and we'll be able to press on with all things Voice of Freedom without too many more struggles. That's the hope at any rate. I haven't been checking what's happened in the markets this afternoon because I've been out doing, woodworking things. It's been fun, get to play with tools. And look, still got all my fingers and no Band-Aids, no nothing. So we did have a bit of success there, which is a big news for people who know me and tools. It's, difficult at times. Thank you for coming in on your Saturday night and joining us. QSI lesson number 5.1, because I can't count. I missed 4. I called it 5. So this is 5.1. Next week will be 6. That's the theory. So, sorry for getting all that a little wrong. Have you gone and checked out QSI? Have you started the course? Have you begun learning what is ostensibly the beginner's training course for understanding how digital currency is working? Jane's joining us tonight. Jane, got to say, was pretty intrigued to hear that you've had a lot of new beginners.
Yep.
Well, it'd be stupid to have old beginners coming and join you, I suppose, wouldn't it? So a lot of beginners coming in and checking out QSI. Just take us through that training part. You really want, what we focus on, obviously, is learning what's safe, where you can be assured that your money at least is backed by something. And learning about XRP and XLM for me has been keystone in all of this for me, and learning about Stellar. And it's quite clear that Stellar is going to be absolutely 100% part of whatever's coming in the new financial system. And there is a new financial system coming. I mean, we haven't spoken this week. What are you making of the bank crashes this week before we sink our teeth into all of this? What thoughts you have on all of that?
What thoughts do I have on the bank crashes? I think it's just a first wave. It's just a sign to help wake a few more people up or make them aware of what is coming so that they start asking questions and go digging for more information for themselves, whether it's QSI or, other avenues. But we'd love to have them on QSI as well. And don't get me wrong there, but, it's just the first step. It's a first stage, and there's going to be more of it to come. And then you see the announcement of the, I wrote it down. Where did I put it? The US banks. So So yesterday for us, but today in the US, well, it's yesterday in the US now, US banks deposit $30 billion in First Republic Bank, rather than the Fed Reserve, because as we know, the Fed Reserve is broke and a redundant organization. And if you see a number of videos from Washington DC around the Fed Reserve, there's a lot of renovations being undertaken. There's nobody there. The buildings are empty, and the Treasury is controlling the funds. And we know that the printing presses have been turned off. For that, and Jim will know that when he jumps on.
Jim's just popped in. So good morning to you, Jim. Thanks for joining us again. Early days. I apologise for getting you out of bed this time again, but thanks for joining us.
No apologies needed. I didn't understand why I couldn't jump in right away. I was sitting here waiting, and it took a while.
I only just saw you pop up. So there you go. I'm sorry about that.
So
we're just talking about what's happened with the financial system around the world, I guess, this last week. But America, and particularly a number of American banks, have been hit pretty hard. Jane was just talking about some of the biggest banks putting in $30 billion to, not bail out one specific bank, but it's interesting the money didn't go to the Fed.
Well, yeah, the Fed is dead. The Treasury is now running the Fed. So the U.S. Treasury is now running the Fed, and they're now no longer in Washington D.C. either. So
yeah, right. What does that? What does the banking system currently mean then in America? If we know of 3 banks that have fallen so far, the market seems to be not reacting in a bad way. Are they just patching up the sinking boat? What's going on?
Well, a lot of things go back to the executive orders that Trump signed, before 2020. And I want to read something here, and this is why those executive orders were put into place by Trump. And it talks about Black Lives Matter movement and related causes receiving astonishing $82.9 billion from these corporations. A new funding database from the Claremont Institute. Walmart, $100 million. Amazon, $169.5 million. And third on the list was Silicon Valley Bank, gave the movement $73.45 million. So these banking systems, and Wells Fargo's in here at $210 million. Bank of America gave $18.25 million. The airlines gave a bunch of money. BlackRock gave a bunch of money. Morgan Stanley gave $30 million. Capital One gave $10 million. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Folks, the bottom line is this. The banking system is corrupt as hell. And Nick Ragone and myself are putting together a series on the tentacles of the cabal. And the banking system, as you're going to find out throughout the whole entire world, they have their hands in every aspect of our lives, including our governments. So this is what you're seeing, is the white hats taking down the banking system.
We are seeing a little bit of shakiness here in Australia, but nothing to a point where people are rushing to the banks, I don't think, despite some of the warnings that have been sent out. I know there have been large increases in inquiry and action for buying precious metals, and I'm led to believe that there's been a pretty big uptake in online NFTs and new coins popping up all over the place. So has this week, in your opinion, seen a greater rise in what's going on digitally, currency-wise?
I have no way of monitoring how many people have jumped on board. I know that, we're seeing numbers of more and more people getting into the Lobster wallet and buying digital assets. And I do know of other people that are jumping on, many of these bullion companies like JM Bullion and Money Market and Bullion and Money Metals, excuse me. But yeah, people are starting to go, what the heck, they're scratching their head going, what's going on? What's going on? So I don't think a lot of people have really figured it out yet, but they're soon going to figure it out here with the next few days. That's for sure.
So the basics are get yourself some XRP, get yourself some XLM, or just XLM if you can't afford both.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's pretty
easy.
What? Yeah, sorry, Jim, that way you go.
No, I was going to say, and right now you're starting to see a spike in the precious metals with silver and gold starting to go up a little bit, but it's still very affordable. And for those that have, whatever fits your budget, you're not going to go wrong with the digital assets, the new digital assets, or the precious metals. So you're not going to go wrong either way.
Okay, cool. So I guess that leads me into the other stuff that then surrounds what's going on with QSI. So you guys offer, because I've been looking in Telegram this week, I've been trying to learn, and there've been a lot of, there's so much information, so many people in so many places. I didn't have to ask a question. All I had to do was keep reading. It was great.
Yeah, there's lots of information. Doesn't matter whether you're in the global chat or whether you're even just in your local state quorum chat, because we share all the announcement posts from the main QSI announcement channel into the quorums, because we have been finding that with some of our quorums out here, there's people that are in our quorums, but they aren't on the global chat because as far as they're concerned, it's too busy. So we share the announcements out here so that they're still getting all the news, to be able to put it all together and know what's going on, as well as recommending that everyone still does the beginner's training course, because that's where the bulk of the information is, and it's in one place.
So I am absolutely the ultimate beginner. I have got as far as saying the beginner's course and not starting it, so I apologise. And I guess in part I ask questions in ignorance tonight. I usually have Vince hanging around, but his daughter's having a birthday party tonight, and I think like all good fathers, I'm not sure if she's 16 or not, but like all good fathers, he's probably at the back door very closely holding onto a shotgun or at least something, overseeing the distribution of whatever beverages may or may not be being taken at the time. So he'll pop in at various different times. I think if I see him pop up, I'll bring him in, but he might have his hands full tonight. So I've gone and had a look at a few different things, and I've got to be honest, I probably understand less than a third of it. So I see something immediately caught my eye on one of the chats, something called Project Romanov, because with what's going on with Russia and China and all those sorts of things. So is this one of these assets? I don't.
Yes.
Still trying to figure out. This is one of these sort of side assets. Mm-hmm. Is that a way to describe that from Excel?
Yeah, it's an asset from Stellar Russia on the Stellar blockchain. So it's a Stellar network asset from Stellar Russia.
Okay. So I've gone in and looked at that, and if I want to buy it, it's very easy to do. You just click on it and away you go. But there are ways that you can go and find more information about who put it together, who built it, and who did all those sorts of things. So I've got Stellar Expert here, and that in there is the search for lobster, I hope. Oh, no, sorry, Romanov, asset and account. So I don't know what I'm looking at here. So what does this tell me? So it tells me when the asset was created and how many people paid it, funded trust lines. So what is a trust line?
A trust line is your right to open that account. So it's like a pocket to be able to hold that asset in your Lobster wallet. You open the line. So it's like an account. So your Lobster wallet, you're able to hold 1,000 assets, and each asset has what's called a trust line. So that's the account to open that allows you to hold that account or hold that asset on your Lobster.
So if I go into the account, what does that tell me?
So this is for Project Romanov.
Yeah.
So you start. You've got the home domain. You've got the number of payments that the account has issued.
Yeah.
It tells you it was created on the 2nd of March, 2023, which is correct.
Can I just put you up for 1 second?
Yeah.
What about the bit across the top that says scam?
That
warning reported for illicit or fraudulent activity. Do not send funds to the address.
I'm going to tell you the usual thing that I tell you. There are a number of individuals who are going around and reporting assets for the sake of reporting assets. In other words, they're Khazarian, they're Illuminati, and any individual can go around and put a false report in on an asset. Stellar Expert, Lobster, SDEX do not verify the validity of those reports. They just whack the scam label on.
Okay.
Because we are in an unregulated wild, wild west sandbox.
Is there any way of verifying?
Yeah, this one, there'll be an interview with Ben from Stellar Russia on the QSI Global channel at 4 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time tomorrow. So he will be discussing this asset and many other things and the war in the Ukraine on that call with Emily on the QSI Global Announcement channel on Telegram.
Okay.
But Emily has direct contact with one of the developers of this asset.
Right. So you're saying it's not a scam, but Stellar itself says it's a scam.
Well, Stellar Expert is a third party It's the Stellar Expert is not Stellar. It's a third party that runs Stellar Expert, not Stellar.
Tell you what, Vince picks the best time to come in and sit down. How are you, buddy? Welcome to the show, because I'm just out of my depth. So we're just having a look here at the Project Romanov asset, the digital asset. And I just clicked in on, I think it was account. Yeah, account. And it's come up with this scam warning. And Jane's just explaining that anybody can, you know, with a bit of spit and vitriol, can, well, list any asset as a scam. Are you aware of that? Oh, you're going to have to unmute yourself, mate. That'll make it a lot easier for you to be heard.
That's a good point. I should try that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So anybody can obviously report a coin or an asset as a scam, etc. I've been going through. I've went through and did the Stellar course and bits and pieces. Now, a lot of the stuff that these guys are telling us is great information, right, about the banks, what's happening, so on and so on. However, I sort of went back through a history of all of this over the week here, which I haven't really informed you about, Carl.
Yeah.
And just about, every asset that I checked on Stellar Expert and on the decentralized exchange, etc., all came up with scam warnings. And if they didn't, I would go to, see where it says created by there? You just clicked on it?
Yeah. You want me to go back? Well,
No, that's right. That's fine. I would click on the created to, and, you know, then that would come the scam warning again and again and again. To me, that's a red flag, guys. I know it might be some people who are busily saying, you know, this is not an option, right? What am I saying? Trying to say, people who are trying to put off the work here that's being done on the assets. But, you know, these assets are, you're buying an asset on something that's unseen. To me, that's not a logical business sense move. What was the one that had all the paper that went out, PDF recently, that went out with all the signatures of the account holders that was looking? Do you guys remember that one? It was one of the ones you had on the list. Had Sheikh Ali whatever on it.
It was probably, it would either be Bayut, Line, or Jabal Ali.
Right. So I followed that one back, and that raised yet another question. You know, we've got they've got these assets. This is it. This is the agreement, etc. All looked nice and neat, and it was signed by the 7 people underneath. But when I went to the website and looked at it, those 7 people were on the advisory board. They weren't actually part of the business. They were only on the advisory board. So that raised another red flag in me. Why didn't the CEO sign the agreement? So this is
advisory boards.
How can we go here and confirm that these assets are actual assets? That's the one question I've been holding off on. Like Stellar Ripple, I have no challenge with. The Stellar system, I have no challenge with. The information you guys are giving out about what's happening in the banking system and all that sort of stuff, I have no challenge with. I have a challenge with these assets that are being advertised. A major challenge. Right? I cannot see anything backing them up. You go to all the web pages, they fail, or they're written in Russian that says this one's been disabled, or whatever. Right? Then you've got others that point directly just at the lobster page, or they'll go to an article that's written about this particular thing, but that's not relative to the actual asset. So have you guys got an answer for us on that, please?
Jane, you want to go first? You want me to?
No, you go first and I'll back you up.
Well, first of all, you have to use your own discernment. And these are great questions, Vince. I understand where you're coming from, and that's just the unfortunate part about where we're at right now. Right now, you know, we're the beta testers of what's going on. But I will tell you this, there is not one thing that QSI would put on or promote that what the white hats are not behind. And again, this goes back to your discernment. And if it doesn't make sense to you and you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. There's a lot of things that people have bought in the past. I will tell you this, if we're promoting it, if QSI is promoting it and Whiplash is promoting it, it's been approved by the white hats. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of, uncharted territory, as you're bringing up, that things are brand spanking new. So a lot of things haven't been developed, and we're taking that leap into this investment at a very minimal amount of money. Okay.
Yep.
So, and I want people to understand this, from my personal standpoint, let's just say, for instance, that, and I'm just saying hypothetically, let's just say that, half of the assets went away. For the amount of money that we're buying these things in, I mean, you can get into this asset for 10 XLMs. We're talking 80 cents.
Yep.
It's not a big investment. So, again, bless you, Carl.
Thank you very much. I thought I'd muted myself. I'm sorry.
No, and I understand the concern. I mean, this is the hard part about this, is using your discernment, using your own judgment. If it doesn't feel right with you, don't do it. If again, I just go back to what I said, before. The white hats are in control, you guys. And for those that are out there, these scams, if it's not been vetted, Whip and Emily would not promote it. Simple as that. So
from a complete newbie's perspective, and I'm not trying to put pressure on you guys, I've just got questions, and you're supplying really, really good answers. But it makes it very hard for me as a newbie to know whether it's 10 cents, 2 cents, or point whatever of a cent, what I should be investing in, and have some level of confidence that it's going to be there tomorrow morning when I wake up, or if I check into it on Stellar Expert, it doesn't come up as a scam. Because my first reaction would be not to blame you guys so much, but it's somewhere deep in the system somewhere it's a scam, because I can't prove it's not, and I take on board what you're saying, and God help us, I'm all with the white hats 100%. But how does that make it easier for me to discern where to put my money?
It doesn't make it easier for you to discern where to put your money. You've just got to trust your gut. And if your gut's saying don't do it, follow it. If your gut's saying that this is the asset for you, follow it. But, only go as far as you are comfortable to go. Don't go any further than that. But we do know that, ISO 20022 integration starts tomorrow. The reversal of a lot of these scam labels will happen, and it has started happening on some assets, not all. Some of them you were not able to even find them on Lobster with domains, and some you still can't. Some of them are back. Some of them are getting their logos back. That's why we actually recommend for all new followers of QSI to use the Verified Assets Tracker spreadsheet, because that one has all the assets on it and it is updated.
So there is a way to find verified assets. Which
the spreadsheet, sorry, Jane, my apologies. The spreadsheet is produced by who?
It is produced by the assets have been verified in the first place by Whiplash and Emily, and the spreadsheet is updated by people within QSI.
So in other words, it's back to having faith in Emily and Whiplash.
They are having conversations with the developers. So these are developers that are known to the team that have been introduced to Weapon Emily by whether it's the military, and they actually ask questions of these developers and read the white papers.
Okay, so speaking of white papers, any ICO should have a white paper. Not one of the ones that I've seen in the lists here have I been able to find one. And I've read plenty of white papers over my time. I've been in crypto since 2017. So, not against you guys, but my guts say I'm not touching this, not any of these assets, because there's nothing to backing it. I can't find proof, right? Not saying anything against you guys again, because the information you give out to us is brilliant, right? It's right on the ball with what's happening in the markets, the bank falling, some of the stuff coming out from, I've been monitoring Whiplash and Emily for a while now, and the QSI side of it. I can't deny against that information is great. I'm just having a real challenge with the assets that I cannot verify. I cannot get a website for. I cannot get an ICO white paper for. You know, if none of that exists, there's no evidence. So everything is now running on fourth or fifth dimension trust. That's what I'm seeing here. And that is also the best place to run a scam. Okay? So it makes it hard.
I understand what you're saying, Vince. I totally get what you're saying. But again, you know, we're in a different era right now where the white hats are in control. And there's no question in my mind that Whiplash and Emily are part of the white hat team. Now, with that being said, many people bought into Bitcoin. Why did you buy into Bitcoin? That was a total leap of faith. It was a total leap of faith. It wasn't backed by anything. It was merely created by the CIA, then taken over by the white hats. So many people jumped into Bitcoin, and it was all fictitious. I mean, it was all created. There was nothing back in Bitcoin at all. So,
other than proof of work.
Pardon me?
Other than proof of work and the cost of electricity, that is its backing.
Well, scarcity, isn't it? Availability is a big
scarcity
thing,
as well, because there's only 21 million coins, but it's a proof of work concept. That is its, if you want to say, like anything, no matter what we deal with, unless we're dealing with gold or silver, which is a tangible object that we can hang on to, right? Anything else, your dollar, your whatever, your digital asset, they're all theoretically fictitious, but they must have some value of worth. And the value of worth here is in the ledger that's been written and the proof of work required by the computers to make that ledger a valid ledger. So that's your actual cost or benefit of, your asset of that is the proof of work. Okay. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. It is still a digital, it still has no tangible, something that you can touch, which is 100% correct. You're spot on. And it's the same with Stellar. It's the same with Ripple, right? It's still a proof of work. Now, Ripple might be backed by gold, by the company, but we have to find that out through papers or whatever. So, yeah. So in that, carry on. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. I was taking in what you're saying. You know, it again, you know, Jane, I'm not as involved in those assets as you are. So I mean, I can't speak on the technical side of it as well as Jane could or Emily could, but I will tell you this, and I'll continue to tell you this. If Emily and QSI and Whiplash are promoting it, yeah. I mean, I can tell you right now, it's a white hat operation, and they would not put that out there. They're working direct. They're working directly with the military.
Yeah. And to be fair, some of the things I've drilled down on have shown that they're perfectly above board. There's no scam alerts, no nothing. So, is it, you know, the list of things that Vince was reeling off there before? Is that a worthwhile list for someone like me to go through to try and, you know, figure out what to buy, what not to invest in? I understand understand we've got to have a bit of faith in this, Jim, and I am prepared to invest a bit of money in that faith. But I'm not prepared to invest $1,000. I might be prepared to invest 10 or 20, because at the end of the day, that's about all I can afford. But I would buy XLM in the hope that silver is going up, XLM will go up, and this leads back to the core deal that we all started talking about in the first place. What is safe to invest in? So XLM, XRP, with the backing that we are still seeing, and nobody seems to argue that silver is backing XLM. There seems to be some confusion or some alternate thoughts on what's backing Ripple and XRP. But and look, I'm no great sleuth with this stuff. My cursory investigation seems to look like Ripple is backed by all sorts of really big things, you know, from manufacturing, grain manufacturing, and gold, obviously, metals, but they're also involved in primary production and all that sort of stuff. So they have a lot of assets behind them. I have no problem with that either. It's when we go into these little sidelines that I've got to say, I got very confused very quickly and thought, well, I'm not really understanding this. And that's why I've got to this point tonight, because you guys are the ones to explain it. Not for 1 second are we suggesting that Emily and Whiplash are, you know, out there coming up with little schemes. But what I'm trying to figure out is how me, a newbie, and judging by the chat, there are a lot of people in here who want to have a go at this, but are nervous given the current financial position and conditions around the world. They're nervous. And when we bring up things like we've shown tonight, it makes it really hard. Yes, to invest and to have some confidence going forward. But like you say, nobody's asking you to bet the house on this. If you've got $10, spend it.
No. We've been saying this in previous shows with you guys. You don't need a lot of money. I mean, seriously. I don't know if it was last week, Vince. We were talking about. I mean, if you put even $100 into this, and listen, you go out and have one of those wonderful steaks that you just had, Carl, here a week or two ago, and you have a couple beverages, and you're with someone else. That's $100 bill all day long.
Absolutely.
Okay? If you were to invest $100 in XLM, XRP, XDC, I mean, you could go down IOTA, I mean, and sovereign gold bonds. I mean, you can buy for $45.
Can I just ask about sovereign gold bonds? Can I just ask about that? That's going to swisscustody.org, isn't it?
Yeah.
Correct.
So that comes up with an error 404 message, and like there's nothing there. So is that like a geo-block thing, or is that just a general internet error message? For some reason, that page isn't loading at my end, or am I spelling it wrong somehow?
If you're trying to search it on the internet, the front page does not work. If you go to the It's on the Ledger Telegram channel and look at the Swiss Custody Bank Depositaire Swiss expose that Kirsten did a couple of weeks ago on that Telegram channel, she will show you how the background pages are actually working and showing the logos, and she'll show you how to find those.
Okay. So is this like a secret squirrel thing?
It's a secret squirrel thing. And a lot of the websites, because they were being hacked, have been taken down. They were subject to hacking, and there's been a lot of that going on. And because the whole system's going to change and go to Starlink, they haven't rebuilt websites to combat the hackers. They've just left them down, and they will come back once we flip.
Hey, Jan, can you mention that site again so people can write this down? I see Vince jumped right on the computer like a hawk.
On Telegram, It's on the Ledger.
Can you imagine how bad his 16-year-old daughter feels at the moment outside of his?
He really
She's not 16, mate. She's 28.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Oh, so you're just waiting for the beer to get brought in for you then?
Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So again, you know, I want to illustrate, and Emily said this multiple times, we are the beta tester for the new system. Okay. If you look at the amount of asset holders, and I'm sure you have, Vince, and you look at the amount of asset holders throughout the whole entire world, and I'll just throw out there, sovereign gold bonds. There's 30,000 people in the whole world that own that asset right now. Okay. So there's not many people that know about what we're talking about right now because it's brand spanking new. We're just coming out of the egg. We haven't hatched yet, and we're very fortunate to be in this new system at the time we are, because we're able to buy these assets at a ridiculous amount of money. Like I said, you could get 922 billion with a B sovereign gold bonds for less than $45. Okay,
Yeah,
so when this thing goes live, even knowing that it will be a phenomenal price even for the general public when they start learning about it, even if you bought into that now, if it went to one penny, you're talking $92 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. But,
and you go back to like the AOL, remember the AOL.com, and I wish I would have jumped in it, but again, it's just like what we're talking about. I didn't know enough about it. I didn't jump in, and that was when the .coms were all brand new and stuff. And it was 2 cents. 2 cents. And I had a buddy I played golf with, and he kept begging me to get in it. I knew I didn't do anything. And he bought $10,000 worth of AOL stock, and within 6-8 months, he became incredibly wealthy. So, that's just that's where we're at right now.
Yep, and it makes perfect sense to me to give it a try. People will go and spend $100 sitting at a poker machine,
Exactly.
having a few beers and a chat with their mate next door, and walk away quite happy losing it. Well, what's the difference? Essentially, I guess you can have your own beer and watch your wallet. Somebody, maybe Vince, can figure out an electronic one where your finger can do that on your wallet occasionally and it make you feel like you're spinning something up. Whatever works.
No, there's plenty of websites that do that now, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, true. Oh, well, yeah. We are trying to help people. Yeah, let's not addict them to it, shall we? Guys, so really the message here is tonight, discernment. Watch what you are doing. Don't just take everybody else's advice. Dig a bit deeper for yourself.
Always do your own research.
The biggest challenge, of course, is that not a lot of people are smart enough to do their own research in this area because it's a field that they've never dealt with before. It's all right for me because I can go diving down wallets and I can follow wallets right back to where the initial stellar exchange occurred for the asset, and then you can follow that exchange back to where it lands in a Binance wallet to be sold on Binance Exchange or Coinbase Exchange, which I've seen. I've followed them back that far, right? So the asset seller is selling them out to obviously sell off the XLM that they've got at Binance or at Coinbase. To me, when I see that, I go, well, yeah, he has swapped out an asset for this XLM. So it's his XLM. I understand that. And he's selling it off. But it's still... everything screams foul in my head. Right? I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it as it is. I personally, unless I can find proof of backing, or an ICO paper where I can see that there's a value or a point in it, or some sort of contract signature, I'm not going to buy one of these assets. Doesn't mean that I don't believe in QSI. Doesn't mean that I don't like the information you guys. Doesn't mean that I don't believe in the coins, Ripple, Lumens, and XDC, right? I have all of those, but I'm not about to spend a stellar on an asset that I can't trust. Maybe because I'm too poor nowadays.
That's perfectly fine, Vince. If your intuition's telling you just to hold the stable coins, then by all means, that's what you do. We're not telling you that and twisting your arm up your back and telling you that you need to go and buy anything else. Yeah, you just go with what your gut tells you to do.
I was around in the days of BitConnect, so I've seen these sort of things run, right? That way, I'm just a lot more cautious, but a lot of people will fall into it easy. I like what was said before. It's only 10 XLM. If you can afford to spend 10 XLM and get a certain number of assets in something that you believe may be valid, it could be a really good deal. Right? I can't deny that. But everything in this so far I've seen is purely faith-based, no evidence, no practical evidence whatsoever. And, not against what you guys bring up, because you bring the information on these feeds is magnificent on what's happening in the banking, what's happening along the way, what's being told and found, and the fact that these are the ones that are going to take place and work in this new quantum financial system.
It's quite clear that there is something coming. It's quite clear the current system is dying. Even to the patently stupid, it should be quite clear the current financial system globally is dying.
It's crashing
Can you,
at a rate.
Have either one of you guys gone through the classes yet on QSI? Have you gone through them? So you've seen the flow charts, Vince?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it shows you right on the flow charts, how the system's going to work and how all these coins are going to correlate and bridge with one another. So
that's why I have no argument with that part.
No. I'm not saying it for you. I'm saying it for the general public. If you go into QSI on Telegram and you take the beginner's course and you go through everything, and what's beautiful about what Emily and the staff have done, and they've done a brilliant job with this. Once you go through it, then you can use it as it's a reference point you can always go back to and check on. So it's always part of your agenda, of your research. And then there's QSIresources.com, QSIresources.com, that there's a ton of information on there as well. So a lot of these questions that you're providing or you're asking tonight can be answered right on those sites. Now, on those ICOs, I can't speak as brilliantly about it as Emily can. And some of these questions that you're asking, listen, we'll go back and we'll ask those questions and we'll try and find those answers for you. If I can't provide it, if Jane can't provide it, then we'll go back and we'll ask it. And here's the thing, you guys, we're here to help people. We're not here to distract people or trying to scam people. All these questions are great questions. So, anytime you're developing something and you're bringing something new to the table, there's always going to be questions. So just know that we welcome the questions. So
and I would appreciate it. Any answers that you guys haven't been able or aren't happy with at the moment, by all means, please come back. We're always keen to hear. More information for me is what this is all about. The more information you have, the easier a decision should be, or the clearer that decision should be to people. So, more information, the better. I just want you guys to know that this hasn't been a setup on you at all tonight. I just have genuine queries, and I've stumbled across things while being completely untrained. Maybe that's one of the dangers of having not done the training, because when you asked before, Jim, only one of us put our hands up, and that'd be the very good-looking fellow who's losing weight much faster than me with the I'm always going to have more hair, but I am going to get into it. And I do want to learn about it. It's hard for me to talk about it without being into it. So
I have another quick question. On the DEX exchange that's being run, the Stellar DEX, right, there are assets that are on there that you can look through. And if you click on those assets, it has verified. And then there's other assets that has unverified. Is there a particular reason that Whiplash and Emily have not gone to get the assets that are currently on sale verified?
They've been applied for. I can tell you that much.
They take a little while, do they?
It does take a little while. So the 3 QSI assets, which are Cake, QDF, and 347 Twin Flame, all three have lost their domain names, so you can't search for their domain in Lobster. They've lost their logos. This happened about a month ago. Emily applied for the verification on those assets from SDEX when she first minted those assets, which would have been about November, December, thereabouts, 2021?
Yeah.
When she first minted them.
Kate, you mentioned Kate.
Yeah, Kate. So Q-A-K-E.
That's why. Okay. Q.
QSI .xmint.io, I think it is, or something like that. If you try that on SDEX, it may come up.
I'm not on the SDEX at the moment, but yeah. All right, no. Well,
but I don't advise beginners to use SDEX because there's too many that are. There's a lot of assets that have been duplicating, and this is another way that we sort of say to ourselves: "There's another that you can verify the legitimate ones." The scammers are out there minting and trying to duplicate and trying to attach them to the TOML of an existing asset. So that's
very true, because when you look up some of these assets in Stellar Expert, you will see multiple versions of them, and finding the right one is quite a challenge, other than looking at the number of coins that have gone to it, which tends to, or the number of
is that the best way to...
scammers are getting smart there too, Vince. They are actually using some of their buddies' wallets to add the trust line, but not necessarily purchasing the scam asset. So it looks like there's a number of trust lines.
Yep.
So you've got to be careful with the number of trust line ones.
As well.
Super careful. Yeah, and you've also got to be careful that they haven't used an L instead of a capital I, and vice versa.
Yeah,
I think it's important.
I for a lowercase L.
I think it's important that people understand that after the flip, when this flips, all this bullshit goes away.
Yeah,
it all goes away. So you got to understand right now. Going back to the military and white hats, they're allowing the criminals. They're allowing the shitheads to do what they want to do because they're giving them rope. They're finding out who's going to play good, or as Vince's shirt says, who's going to be naughty, who's going to be nice. That's what they're doing.
Well, tent was made.
So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. They've done it in the banking industry. They've done it in the media. They're allowing people to give themselves. What are they going to do? Are they going to do the right thing, or are they going to do the wrong thing? And right now we're in this war, this war for truth, and so a lot of things are going to come to fruition after the flip.
Yeah, definitely, Jim. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think. I was sort of saying that last week. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what the financial landscape will really look like because the quantum system is not open to us yet. We haven't seen what it looks like yet. No doubt it's going to be a hell of a lot easier than what we're going through here at the moment. As Jim said, I was going to say we, but I'm not. You guys are the beta testers in all of this. You're exactly right. I guess what we're finding now, too, is we're finding out how the scamming takes place so that people in the future, when building into this, can build up safeguards against all that, or a process where it just makes it impossible, like you say, Jim, after the QFS kicks in, where it's just all these scam coins will just disappear.
Yeah, well, we have been told that they are going to disappear. So, and that's again, I'll come back to saying that if someone wants to purchase into the other assets, use some of their XLM to purchase into the other assets, please use the verified tracker spreadsheet. It is easy to find by keyword searching on the Telegram channel for tracker spreadsheet, and it will be the top of the list in your keyword search.
Beautiful.
So,
awesome.
So on the global announcement channel, and I believe it is actually pinned to the top of that channel as well.
Right, so
Somebody wants me to shut my dog up. Unfortunately, I can't. She's outside. She's probably got a snake bailed up. We've been having a few rats around the backyard lately.
Sorry, we just need to confirm which Telegram channel you're talking about, Jane.
The QSI Global Announcement channel.
Okay.
It's also on.
Because I'm not. That's not the channel that I am on.
So you're not on Quantum Stellar Initiative?
I'm on Quantum Stellar Initiative's channel. Yeah, 50,000 plus subscribers.
Yes, it should be on that keyword search on there, and you should be able to find it. Tracker spreadsheet.
One word?
No, 2. Because I know I've done it myself.
Unless I can't spell tracker.
Sorry, just had to speak with the dog.
Oh, okay. And she listened. Surprising.
Yeah, well, one of us barks louder and is a bit bigger.
I'm going to say, I think mine's here somewhere asleep. But anyway.
Mine's hungry. She wants feeding. That's why she's getting a bit carried away, I think. So did I miss much while I bailed out there?
No, just me trying to find this spreadsheet, which I can't.
Oh, roger that.
Not off the QSI one that I'm on anyway.
So yeah, Quantum Stellar Initiative should be able to just hit the thingo, and I'm actually trying to do it myself now because I know I did it the other day and it came up.
I heard
that's the other problem we have with Telegram. There's often duplicate Telegram channels of the same name too. So
yeah, exactly.
It can be a bit of a challenge. That's why it's good if we can get this out to the people with the correct information that they can research. That's fantastic.
I'll send Carl the link for the spreadsheet. But the one that you're on, the QSI channel that you're on, the Quantum Stellar Initiative channel, Vince, does it have a call scheduled for 4 a.m. tomorrow morning Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time?
Yeah, well, for me that's 3:30. Then that is a yes.
Yeah, well, it should be coming up because I've got tracker spreadsheet. So it comes up as when you do your search, you'll have put tracker spreadsheet in, and it's the top one. It's dated the 18th of the 1st, and it's so 17th of January. Stellar asset updates. That's it.
First to 17th. Yep, found it. Great. Thank you very much.
And my New South Wales moderator has found it too because Carl just put him on the screen. I'm going to say he would find it. He always does.
Very good.
So, yeah, there's lots of really great people behind the scenes. And if you have joined any of the Australian or New Zealand quorums, there is a great group of people there to help answer questions.
Yeah, and I've got to say, like I
said
earlier,
are we actually able to post that link or not, Jane?
Sorry?
Are we able to post that link
the Australian forums? Carl's got them all. I'll send them in a while back.
About the
do you want to copy it and put it in the private chat, and I'll
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm just asking. Are we able to put that spreadsheet up?
Yeah, yes. If you put it in the private chat, I can do that.
Yeah, but I'm just asking permission to.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes, is that okay?
Yeah, I've just got to figure out how to get the link for it on my computer.
I've already got it.
Oh, you've got it? Well, yeah, put it up. Go for it. Share it.
I've just put it in the private chat. This takes you directly to the spreadsheet that has been verified here. That's quite good. It even tells you which scam labels have been removed, etc., and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So they are coming off, and it allows you to be able to, So
this is a good piece of evidence. This is a good piece of evidence, and this is the sort of stuff we need. And this is helping the people out there have a little bit more faith in what's going on.
Yeah, and that's why I say keep looking at the tracker spreadsheet to see what's been updated. There is a group of volunteers led by Nick Ragone and someone else that updates this spreadsheet either once a day or every couple of days, depending on how much time that they have. So there's about a group of 10 or a dozen people that update this spreadsheet.
Can I ask what a red badge of courage is, and why would it be removed on lobster? Wouldn't you want a red badge of courage?
The red badge of courage is those we call them wallet measles or red badges of courage. So yeah,
Wallet measles.
Wallet measles.
That's very, very Australian.
And to be honest, Carl, a lot of people in QSI that have been there for ages will tell you that if it's got a scam label on it, that means it's a good one, because those that don't want us to be getting ahead because we are of the light, so those of the dark have gone ahead and put the reports on them.
Yeah.
But surely Stella being of the light should be at least having some control over that and looking at it.
Yeah, but Lobster, remember, Lobster is a third-party entity. It's not run by Stella itself. It has now, since November last year, when the 2 developers of Lobster were arrested by the military, it is now under military control.
Yeah, but this is not just Lobster, this is Stellar Expert. Now, you're saying Stellar Expert is a third party. So where can we look at the actual chain for Stellar? Where's the ledger for Stellar, and what can we
Horizon. Horizon, the only individuals that have access to that at the moment, my understanding, is the white hats. So the likes of detective who have been investigating the criminals.
That would be a very good ledger to have if you were investigating criminals, one would assume.
So, and there is evidence. If you go on it's on the ledger channel on Telegram again, you'll see a couple of very interesting screenshots that Kirsten has found and posted in the research chat channel of that page. So, click on the logo and go through to the discuss option to find the chat. But it's very interesting to see how they're manipulating things still. So there's still a psyop. So we've got to remember, art of war, there's lots of things going on to still catch those nefarious characters. So we've got to remember we are at war. And remember psyops.
Yeah.
And Jim and co spoke about this on the weekly panel call, I think last week. Am I correct, Jim?
Yeah, and it just came out. When I woke up, I checked, and it was just posted on QSI. So I'll be sure to send that your way, Carl, so you can share it with them. Yeah, it's a really good call, and many people in Australia should see this call. And we've got a great panel and a lot of good knowledge. So I'll share that with you.
How did you go with Nick this week?
It's in your DM. I've already sent it to him. He's already got it.
Jane's always way ahead of me.
Yeah, me too. She rings me at least an hour before I needed to, usually most days. It's great. So just want to thank you again, Jim, for getting out of bed this time of the morning and being here with us. And this was by no means to try and expose or catch anybody out here. I think we've learned some really valuable information tonight. And I certainly believe I have as a newbie. I think I've gained more insight tonight. Yes, we need to be, more discerning in what we do. And that means trying to understand, both sides of the coin so that you can identify a good and a bad side of a coin, so to speak. And I'm using coin there in the general sense, not necessarily in the digital coin sense. You've got to learn both sides to be able to identify which is the best to be invested in. That's the way that I look at this, and more information, the better. I can't thank you both enough for coming in and joining us again on a Saturday, on your late Friday morning or early Saturday morning, Jim.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure to come on here, and I get the questions. So don't think for 1 minute. Both Jane and I don't. And let us go back for the things that we can't answer for you. There's such a great team over there at QSI, and we'll find those answers and we'll bring them back to you. So this is all part of this journey. This is all part of this journey that we're on. And we're all going to learn in this journey. And, having questions is part of the journey.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask the questions, you can't get the answers. And yeah, we're necessarily not going to know everything. We can, you know, try and preempt some of the questions that you may ask or may come up in our discussion. But, you know, it's healthy to be able to go backwards and forwards and try and help increase your knowledge. But at the same time, we're also increasing ours.
Yeah.
Because we are studying even more so that we know even more to be able to answer your questions so that we don't have to go back and search for more answers or ask. Yeah. You know, I've got notes here now that I've been making, and you know, writing notes down and making things and sticking it to the wall has actually been helping me increase my knowledge. You know, sometimes I know I've read something, but I can't automatically recall it. So, you know, I've been making cheat sheets, and it's actually been making sure that, you know, the Australian calls for the quorums, that, you know, I've got even greater answers for the team of people that join on our weekly calls, and I'll send Carl the call schedule as well. So
I'm going to try and join one. I managed to overheat myself yesterday, and the day before I had a few other things happening. So yeah, I'll get back to it all regularly next week. I hope my time frame, now that I've fixed it. Jim, you're probably not aware. I don't know what 35 degrees Celsius is to you, but it's probably over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
38 to hit 100, 35 is about 95, close. 94.
But in my room.
So I'll tell you, just so the difference is here is 3 feet of snow, and I woke up to 2 below 0 Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Well, I've got my shorts and T-shirt on, and I'm sweating like the proverbial. So,
well, I can tell you that next winter, Jim will not be in America.
Oh, very good.
No more winters.
Guaranteed. No more hey, I want to make a couple statements here, and I think it's really imperative, because yesterday I got a very disturbing phone call. Folks, anyone on Telegram, just know this, okay? And hear me loudly, hear me clearly. Neither Emily, Jane, myself, or anyone from QSI, nor Whiplash will contact you regarding your lobster wallet. There are people that are impostoring all of us, especially Emily. And they're scamming people. And there's a certain individual out there who's making false claims and putting a ridiculous number on XRP, and he's calling lobster a fraud. It's not true. Do not listen to other people. Do your own work. And he's telling people to sell your XRP or sell your XLM and just buy XRP. There's a lot of things going on right now. XLM is a great coin, and XRP is a great coin, but you shouldn't be selling out your XLM for XRP. XRP will have a buyout.
Yeah. And
you will not own XRP. You will own XLM the entire time that you own it. So I wanted to make this clear, because I got a very disturbing call yesterday from another channel on Telegram, and another person got scammed because he was told by this individual who has a ridiculous number on XRP of $500,000 that you should sell all your XLM and buy XRP, and you should get it off of lobster. It's not true, folks. I'm calling a spade because somebody just lost $360 of XLM because of someone else's fraudulent. So just know that.
So the scam is based around Emily or Whiplash or you or Jane supposedly contacting somebody and inquiring about their lobster wallet.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I'm going to back him up on that. I'm backing him up on that. When you're on Telegram channels and you get contacted by someone who's supposedly an admin of a group, right? These admins don't do that. They just won't, because there's too many people who scam. So the first time you get contacted by somebody who's supposedly admin of a group, you can ignore it. It's the safest thing to do. All right. So I'm backing you right up on that one.
And
Block
the
them.
other thing that we do actually ask is that people screenshot the username of that user and please report it to us so that we can block them so that they cannot see our membership list anymore. So if you can please screenshot it and post it in whichever QSI chat that you are a member of and tag at Fricky78. So that's at FRIKI78 and she will come and pick them up.
Fricky.
Fricky.
And just for your interest, just having a quick look through the official checklist, and I found Stronghold that says it has an address. And guess what? Beautiful web page, company about, products, what Stronghold's all about with ICO. That's the information I like to see.
Yep.
Okay. And Vince,
a good asset too.
That's an awesome asset that no one talks about. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Vince. That's a great coin to own.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still going to look into
I'll be honest, yes, I hold it.
But yeah, at least it's valid, right? It's there. It's got information. It's got backing. And that's the type of thing we need to see. Unfortunately, a lot of those other assets don't have.
And it has been around too, Vince, for a lot longer than some of these others as well.
I gathered that, yeah.
Yeah. And they've got some really great short videos that are coming out too.
Did we figure out or get an answer to the verification process? It seems to take a long time and probably necessarily so. You mentioned that there are a lot of unverified assets at the moment, but the verification process is being followed and being worked through. Is this like trying to get a gun license in Australia and takes 2 years?
Yeah, quite possibly. The other thing that I have been hearing of late, and I'm happy to be proven wrong on this, is that a lot of the verifications now will not be completed until after the implementation of Protocol 20.
That sounds awesome if we knew what Protocol 20 was.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. What's Protocol 20, Jane?
I haven't got it written down here, but it is to do with the implementation of the executive orders. And Jim will probably add some more to it. But I do know what it is, but I can't say it right now because it's just not coming out.
The next week, my girl. Next week.
Yeah, I will go. Look, I've got these. No, you can't see it. But I've got heaps of these, and I've got about 4 or 5 of them since I started with QSI. Every online chat, I made notes.
Yeah.
And
me too.
I know I've got it written in a notebook. I've got to find it. But it might be easier to go and keyword search on the channel.
Well, I think what would be helpful is just what we said earlier, you guys, is we'll go through this video again. Jan and I we'll take the questions that were asked, and then we'll bring you the answers for next week. And I think that's very, very positive and moving in the right direction. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, excellent. All right, well, let you go back to bed, Jim.
We've got to remember tomorrow is March 20. Not tomorrow, Monday is March 20. We've got implementation of ISO 20022. That's coming in. The other thing, Evergrande are in court for their bankruptcy proceedings. So watch this space.
Yeah, right. Big things happening this week. So
big things happening this week. And actually, I had
and that means Basel 4 will be enforced from midnight tomorrow night our time then on the 20th. Basel 4 being the protocol.
Came in on the 1st of January.
Oh, okay. Righto.
No, she's talking about the ISO 20022.
It starts to integrate on Monday. And
actually,
when I went on my internet banking app earlier, it tells me they're down for maintenance tomorrow.
Yeah, I got the same.
I wonder why, guys.
Do you want to say what bank?
Bendigo.
You know, that brings up another thing. So I was at 2 different banks here in Minnesota yesterday, and I just wanted to share this. I asked both banks, I says, did you guys get a new software system? And they go, yeah, we did, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I go, oh, is that the quantum financial system? And they go, what's that? They have no clue. But they got a new system. So they don't know what it is, but they just know. And the one gal says it's really fast. It's really fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Yeah. Then I asked them, I says, have you seen any of the new currency, the rainbow currency yet? And none of them had a clue that that's coming.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
we'd like to be
clearly,
in the dark.
Clearly they're not in Arizona and haven't been walking past any errant ATM machines. Because there's been a bit of rainbow currency pop out of one in Arizona, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that, Carl?
One of the Telegram channels about probably 2-3 weeks ago. And the explanation for it is that they were testing the canisters that the money goes into. And they were doing that overnight in some secluded little area where there was a machine. And whoever was testing it left one of the money canisters loaded in the machine when they walked away. So some people came along and put in, $400 out and got all this really funny looking money. Thankfully, it was when the bank was open. And so they went into the bank and said, what, your machine just gave me this. What the hell is this? And the people behind the counter got quite panicked, quite upset, took the money, refunded, changed it all over and said, just forget about that. That's just test money we use in the machines. But the person who did this knew exactly what it was, and definitely rainbow currency. So that was about 3-4 weeks ago in Arizona.
Do you have that? Hold on a second. Do you have that post, Carl?
I can probably dig that up. Yeah, I do. I will have it somewhere for sure.
Yeah. Would you send that to Jane or myself? I would really like to see. We would really like to see that.
And I will also follow up with the individual that is currently going through the vetting process to be the quorum leader in Arizona and see what he has to say. I'm quite sure he will be quite happy to go digging.
I'm pretty confident it was Arizona. If it wasn't Arizona, it was Nevada. So
that's close enough.
Close enough. Near all sandy and hot. I understand. All right, guys. Thank you for coming in on your Saturday night and very early Saturday morning. How did the other half go in the marathon last weekend, Jim?
She kicked ass. She did awesome. So I'm very proud of her. So
and you cheered strongly from the sidelines.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Froze my butt off in the snow. So hey, before we go, I want to just say too. So QSI has been kind enough to allow Nick Ragone and I to start a series, and I'll send it to you.
Oh, is that you falling over?
It is.
Not enough sleep, Jim.
Oh no, I bumped my desk, so I apologize.
That's all right, man.
Going back, we're starting the series of the tentacles of the cabal, and so we'll send those series to you so you can share them on your channel, and the people can watch and they can actually see what the work that we've done on this. So we're excited about doing it, and when people find out, all the evil that's on our money and within the banking system, they're going to be really surprised.
Yeah, and the tentacles is a great way of describing what it is, because their reach is deep. They get into everything, the bastards. I'm really looking forward to that. Did you and Nick start on that this week? I think that was the plan, wasn't it, this past week? Yeah,
we filmed the intro part of it last night, and it should come out probably sometime later today, if not tomorrow, on Sunday, which would be Monday your time. And then our first episode will come out on Sunday the following week.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, mate. It's going to be great. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us. I'll let you go back to the party, Vince. I know there'll be a beer with your name on it. It'll be a low carb. It'll be a low carb one, obviously, because you're recovering. So
yeah, a lot of recoveries will do. Thank you very much, guys, for having a listen to all of our bits and pieces and giving our crew out there some information.
Yeah.
We're happy to raise questions as we see them and what we see, etc. And we're glad that you've got answers for them.
Thank you.
Outside of that, everybody, before I disappear, please understand that Carl, who runs this show, does so off his own back. He's going to hit me for this. I can see it in his face right now. He does this off his own back, right? His only income is what he gets from here. He's not asking for it. He never asks for it. But understand, for him to get around, for him to do, we need to support the free voice of the people. All right? So donate, become a member, whatever. He doesn't get paid by the government. He doesn't collect unemployment. He doesn't do any of that. He is a self-employed person. If you've been self-employed, and I have, it's not an easy life. So look after him, make sure he does, support him. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get this type of information anywhere.
Thank you, Vince.
Lovely all guys. Be good. I'm going to go and have a beer. See ya.
Vince, happy birthday to your daughter. Happy birthday to your daughter.
No worries. Thank you. I'll pass it on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Cheers, buddy. Did I just bump Jane out then? Thank you guys. That was a bit unexpected. So thanks for that. And thank you guys for taking the time again on your Saturday night, Saturday morning. I really do appreciate it. And without you, I would be, that much more uninformed about what's going on and what's coming on with the new financial system. So I really thank you both for taking the time to help me through it.
That's all right. It's our pleasure, Carl, to come and share what we've learned. We've very fortunate. I know for myself, I'm very fortunate to have been in the position where I've had the time to be able to learn what's coming through multiple spider bites. We love spiders, not. But, I had to, when I had no energy to be able to do anything else, I was able to sit on calls, read, take notes and learn. So, I'm happy to share what I've learned because that's how you help others, give them a hand up.
And
So
you've been an immense help to me. So thank you very much. Just navigating. It's been
that's what I'm here for, and we'll, if we can help you, we will. And that goes for other things as well. And yes, the team are still looking for that, some of those other things that you asked about as well.
That's cool. No worries. I have every faith in you guys, and like you say, there are things that you couldn't answer. Then there are people in the organisation who will have the answers. They're just not on our chat tonight. So I'm sure we'll have them next week. It's all good. I'm looking forward to it.
And so your audience knows too, Carl. We're not paid either. This is all voluntary. This is all our humanitarian projects. So QSI is a nonprofit organization, and everyone that's involved with QSI, and there's incredible people that Emily's put together on a team. We're all doing this as our humanitarian project, and this is the new world that we're going into. Is that when the abundance does come after the flip, not everything is going to be done because of money. We do it because we're just taking care of our brother and sister.
That's exactly right. That's what the Voice of Freedom is about. Unity with community, building people, not bank balances. So, we build communities, not bank balances. And by community, we will all win. Yeah.
Carl, Stella, for the people, by the people.
Yeah, exactly. For the people, by the people. Go Stella. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a lovely, you for Jim, a morning, and you, Jane, a lovely night. And I'm looking forward to next Saturday night.
Okay, see you then.
See you guys.
God bless.